Hello everyone and welcome to this video tutorial on how to create a WordPress website. Basically, this tutorial is meant to give you a step-by-step guide on how you can create a professional looking WordPress website. So either you're a beginner or you have an idea on how to create a website before now on WordPress, or maybe you're already a pro, let me use that word, when it comes to website design using WordPress. And in this video, I believe you're going to get a lot because I'm going to be walking you through all the things that you need to know as far as creating a website is concerned. So at the end of this video, you'll also be able to create just any kind of website using WordPress. Okay, so I'm going to be walking you through the process of getting the things that you're going to need to create your website. Your hosting, your domain, how to install WordPress, your theme installation, how you can design your own page, how you can create your blogs, your different pages and menu. Okay, so let me give you a snippet of the website we are going to be making reference to. Okay, all right, so this right here is the website we're going to be making reference to. So I'm walking you through how you can achieve a website like this. All right, now for this website in particular, it's if you see it now, you see that it's a dental service kind of website. However, with all the things you're going to be learning in this video, you can also use the knowledge to also create just any kind of website, either it's a service-based business or it's whether it's a service-based business or a niche-based business. Okay, whatever it is, the idea you're going to be getting and knowledge you're going to be getting from this video will help you in creating just any kind of website. You can see the different sections right here, and if you scroll down, this is what the footer is looking like. Then we have all of this section. If you scroll to the top also, you can see we have the logo here, we have all of this information. So all of these are what I'm going to be taking you through in the course of this video. So guys, if that interests you, do make sure you watch this video to the end. I'm also going to be sharing some important information as far as creating a website is concerned, some tips and links here and there that will help you in your website creation process. So if you are new to this channel or you are yet to subscribe to the channel, kindly take out time to click on that subscribe button right now so that you can get updates of any of my future videos. All right, and if you also want to learn more about WordPress or website design, I have a whole lot of other videos that talks about different things or different kinds of website that will also interest you. Okay, so I believe you've done that now. If you are still yet to subscribe, go ahead right now and click on that subscribe button to subscribe to the channel. So thank you very much if you have just done that. So with that, now let's head over to the video and get started with the main thing of this video, WordPress website tutorial for beginners. Okay, so before you can create any website, basically there are two things that you are going to need. Okay, number one, you're going to need your hosting and you're going to need a domain. Now when we talk about hosting in simple terms, okay, without using any too much of technical terms, is where all the information on your website are being stored. Now using this as an example, now all of this text, all of these images, you can see all of these images, all this information, the design, the layout, everything you're going to be using on your website. All right, if you have a video, if you have your themes, your plugins, they are stored somewhere on the internet. All right, so where they are being stored is what we refer to as hosting. All right, so that's just a simple explanation of what hosting is. Now the second thing you are going to need is your domain name. Now before you access any website, you have to enter some certain words of in your browser. For example, if you want to access Facebook, you have to enter facebook.com. If you want to go access your Gmail, you have to go to your browser and put in gmail.com. You see, all those words are what we refer to as your domain name. Some people also call it website name. All right. So for you to get these two things, your domain and hosting, one platform comes highly recommendable. All right. So basically, what you will just be getting is your hosting, and they are going to give you a free domain name. All right. So that makes it more easier, and the price is very friendly. All right, so to get your domain and hosting, so just come over to this website, akprosperblog.com/hosting, and then you'll be taken to this page. You can see here hosting here. This is currently one of the best hosting platforms that you can find on the internet right now. They offer the best and quality hosting service. So if you're here, you see it, and you're going to be getting 75% of hosting plus AI website builder. Okay, so once you are here, if you click on start now, here you'll be taken to the different pricing and the plan. All right, so we have the basic plan, the growth plus AI, and then the scale plus AI. Now, since we are working on e-commerce platform, I would recommend you go with the growth.ai. Now, if you check the difference between the three plans, you see it right here. Now, if you look at this basic plan, remember we are creating e-commerce website. You can see for e-commerce, and then this is checked for e-commerce. Okay, so that means this has more features that we need to actually get us started. All right, and then maybe later on you can decide to go up with this scale plus AI. So since you are just starting out, this is okay. Now you can see you are also going to be getting a free domain for the first year. And remember, like I said earlier, you are going to be needing two things: your domain name and your hosting. So they are providing us with hosting, and then we are also going to be getting a free domain for the first year. And then you can also use this same plan to create up to 50 websites. So maybe once you are done with your first website and you want to create another website, you don't need to come back and purchase another hosting. With the same hosting plan, you can create up to 50 websites. Okay, so you can see these are some other features that comes with it: basic e-commerce, business email, 5 minutes backups per year, daily backup. You get up to 50 gig of storage, and then you get priority support, team collaboration, and the likes. Okay, compared to the basic plan. So what you do once you are here, just go ahead and click on choose plan. So once this page open up, the next thing you're supposed to do is to choose the period. How long do you want to purchase this hosting? Now, if you click here, you are going to have the option of choosing 1 month, 12 months, 24 months, and 48 months plan. Now, remember, you are getting a free domain. So for you to get a free domain, you have to pick anything from the 12 months plan. Okay, that's what is going to give you the free domain. Like you see it here, domain name, you won't be charged for it. You're getting a free domain. However, if you are thinking on long term, okay, I'll recommend you go with either the 24 or 48 months plan. That's if you are thinking of, the website on a long-term basis. And also choosing the 24 or 48 months plan will also increase the discounts you're going to be getting. Okay, for example, now for 12 months, your total is $59.88. But if you go with 24 months, that's 107.76. And then if you choose to go with the 48 months plan, that's $181.92. Okay, and you're also going to be getting plus 3 months free hosting. Okay, so the higher plan you choose, the more discount you're going to be getting. For example, on the 48-month plan now, you are saving as high as $489. Okay, so just make sure you choose anything from 24 to 48. That's what I'm actually recommending. Okay, so depending on your budget anyway, but those are the two. So once you have chosen any of the plan that you want to go with, okay, then you can come over here and then you click on continue. So on this page now, you're going to be prompted to create an account. So here you put in your email address and your password. So you need to take note of the email address and the password you want to use to create your account with them. Okay, so once you do that, you put in your email address and your password, and then you click on register. Once you've completed the registration process and then you've verified your email, the next page you're going to be coming is where you're going to put in your billing address. So that's your name, your last name, your country, your phone number. You just fill in all of these details. Once you are done with them, you click on the continue, and then you'll be able to make your payment. So there are different payment options that will be available to you depending on your country. Okay, so you can pay with your card. There's option of PayPal, there's option of Google Pay, OPay. I think this is available because of the country, my country. So we also have Alipay and then CoinGate. So whatever country you are actually watching from, you definitely see a payment system that will definitely work for you. So choose whichever one that works best for you, and then you'll be able to check out. Okay, so you can see once you put in your, either you want to pay with card and then you submit your payment, then you'll be able to purchase your hosting plan. Once you have completed the payment process of paying for your domain, okay, so once you've completed the billing process, the next thing you're going to be getting access to your hosting dashboard, which is what you are seeing here. So once you're on this page, you see all of these options here: your home, website, domain, horizon, emails, and the likes. So where we are coming is you click on websites. So once you are here, you see this option to add website. So go ahead and click on add website. Now all these options will pop up. We have WordPress, hosting your website builder. So what we want to go with is WordPress. Now you see some of this survey or questionnaire, so you can decide to skip them or answer them. So let's say I'm creating for myself or my business, go to next. So now the next phase now is for you to create an account. Now this information is what you are going to be using to log in into your WordPress website itself. Okay, so here you put in your email. You can see it here: WordPress email, admin email, and then your administrator password. Now one thing I would advise is make sure that whatever password you're using here, you take note of the password. Okay, so by default they'll generate a password for you. Okay, but you can go ahead and create your own password. All right, then make sure your password fulfill all of this information. One number, one symbol, one uppercase letter, one Latin letter, and then between 8 to 50 character. Okay, so one only Latin character. Okay, and then one symbol. So the symbol can be anything, full stop, and all of this symbol sign. So once you fill in all of this information, you click on next. Now you'll be asked to create with a website with AI, pre-built website and theme. So just click on create a blank site. All right. All right. So now the next thing is this. Now they're asking that what domain or subdomain would you like to use? Now there are three options here. You can see number one, it said claim your free domain, buy a new domain, or confirm a domain you already own. Now let me explain the three to you. Now if you've purchased your hosting, there are chances, so that means you can go ahead and claim your free domain. So what you do is you put in the domain that you want to use. Okay. Let's say, for example, this is the domain you want to use. Maybe you want to use this domain now. So you go ahead and put in the domain. If the domain is available, you see the option here with claim. So you click on claim. All right. So that's the first option. Now the second one says buy a new domain. Now this buy a new domain is when you want to create maybe your second website. Okay, maybe you've already claimed your free domain and then you want to create another website, you can go ahead and purchase another domain from them also. They also offer that service. All right. Now the third one is confirm a domain you already own. Now maybe you already have a domain already, which is what I want to do. For example, I already have this domain, gazegpt.com, and that's what I want to use. So I'll just go ahead and put in the domain so you can see, do you own this domain? Use it. So I'll click on it. So you can see the domain is registered at another provider. You need to verify you own it when you connect it to your site. So that's lets you know if you have a domain on another platform, maybe you have a domain from GoDaddy, from Bluehost, or from other platforms, you can also use it. All right. So and that's what I'm doing. So you can see it here. I've put in this domain. I actually have this domain on another platform, Dynadot. Okay. So what I'll just do is then you go ahead and click on install WordPress. So with that now, our WordPress installation is in progress. You can see it here 6%, 7%, 8%. So I'll just pause the video and let it to go to 100, but it takes less than 2-3 minutes. Okay. So guys, if you are finding value in this video, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you are yet to subscribe, please go ahead and click on that subscribe button. All right, so welcome back, guys. Now we are done with the installation process. So once that installation is completed, this is the page you are going to be redirected to. So you can see it here, onboarding. Now, let me walk you through some of the things you are seeing on your screen. One of the things that you might also notice is when you are redirected to this page. Now, just in case, okay, let me minimize so that you can see it. All right, so one thing that you might notice is if you see that your domain name is having some random text here and you're not seeing your domain name itself, for example, I'm using ChatGPT, gazegpt.com like this, but if yours is not showing your domain name, all right, so you just don't worry. Basically, before now, once you install WordPress into your hosting, it takes time for it to propagate, all right? So, but instead of you waiting for like 30 minutes, unlike before, once you install WordPress, you need to wait for like 30 minutes, 1 hour, some can take as high as 24 hours before you can continue with your website design. But with this hosting that I just recommended to you, they'll just give you an opportunity to continue with your website design. So just give it like an hour or two, then you go to the back end of your host and then you log in, or you just type in your domain name /wp-admin, all right, and this will take you to your dashboard where you might also need to log in again. So you need to take note of your login information. That's your either your username and your email, then your password, all right? So just take note of that. So another thing you might also see is once you are here, you might be seeing your email appear here. So if you don't want your email to appear, you can just click here, click on this edit profile. Okay, so under that edit profile, there are other options that are available there. So for example, your color scheme, by default, this is the default color scheme. Now, if you want this, so you can see it here. So this is a matter of preference. I think some people also use this midnight. Okay, and then we have ocean and a whole lot of other. So personally, I'm okay with the defaults, but this is just a matter of preference. Okay, so if you have maybe challenge with colors and the likes, you can just adjust the color scheme here. All right, apart from that, if you also want to change if you want to add your name here, okay, so maybe I want to put in Prosper. So with that, now I can change my display name. So you can see display name publicly as, now I can put it as possible. Sometimes it might be your email, depending on what information you provided while filling that. So if you want to change it, okay, you can do that here. So this is your admin email. So if there's need for you to change it, you can also change it from here. All right. So if you want to fill all of these, maybe your bio, if you want to add your profile picture, you can also do that. If you want to set a new password, this is where you can do that. So once you are done, you can go ahead and update your profile. Okay, so let me come back to that page we were before. All right, so this is the page that showed up earlier. All right, now another thing again is, once this is installed, there's another thing you need to do is come over to plugins. Okay, so by default our hosting is going to install some of these plugins for us. So basically what I just want you to do is to go ahead and uninstall them, because we won't be needing them. All right, and then once you click on this, for you can leave this light speed catch. Okay, so make sure you leave that. So just come to bulk action, click on the activate, and then apply. Now let me explain what plugins is. So after you activate, the next thing is for you to delete it. Right, so basically if there's anything you are not using, maybe be it image, themes, plugins, just go ahead and delete them. Okay, because leaving them means that they are going to be taking some space on your website, and I mean on your host rather, and we don't want that. All right, so as I was saying earlier, if you plugins are basically, in simple terms, they are apps that add more functionalities to your website. Take for example your phone. You know, if you want to make a call, you have to have a calling app that you can use to dial phone the number. If you want to access WhatsApp on your phone, you know, you need to have the WhatsApp app. If you want to watch movies on your phone, you need to have an app that allows you to do that. So basically that's what this plugin also does. As long as WordPress is concerned, they add more functionalities and more features, you know, to your website. So as you progress, you are going to be seeing more plugins you are going to install. Okay, so with that being said, if you take a look at this left side of our screen, you can see we have all of these menu options here on the side. Okay, as we progress in the video where we install our theme, our plugins, you're going to see more options there. But before that, now that we've deleted some of these plugins we are not using, let's go back to our dashboard. All right, so you can see here you're going to be having welcome to WordPress and a lot of all of this information. Now, if you don't want to see any of this information, you can just come over to screen option and then uncheck any of them that you don't want. Okay, so you can see that will give you a cleaner dashboard. And if there's any information in particular that you want to be seeing on your dashboard, you can also come to your screen options and then allow them. Basically, this comes handy, especially if you have an e-commerce website. You know, maybe you want to have some analytics to show up from your dashboard. This is where you can also do that. And again, sometimes once you have a lot of, depending on the kind of website, if you have a good number of plugins, you know, you can have a whole lot of this information. Yeah, sometimes it's very confusing and distracting. All right, so this is what our dashboard currently looks like. Well, the next thing here we are having is posts. So let me open that in a new tab. So basically, this is where you are going to find all your blog posts. So you can see it here. By default, we have this blog post, hello world. Okay, so you can go ahead and also trash this because we won't be needing it. All right, so let me move this to trash. So if you want to also create a new blog post, you just come over here and click on add post. Okay, so let me just mention it now. So this is where you're going to enter your title, and then here you can enter the blog post. Okay, so you can just go ahead and put in your blog post like that. If you want to bring in an image, you can see you click on this plus for image. If you want to add heading, gallery, you know, let me click on browser. So there are a lot of things you can just put into your blog post, okay, to make it look good. Right, so that's it on blog post. So let me just close this. The next one we are having here is media. So this is where you are going to find all your media files, maybe pictures, your images. If you have, you want to bring in audio, PDF, or any material, you find them here. If you want, you can see there's an option to add new. You can either drag it in or just select it. Okay. All right. So away from media, we also have pages. So for pages now, we are going to be making use of this more often. So this is where you are going to either have to create your page. All right. All the pages for your website, for example, we have the home, about us, treatment, you know, blog, contact. So this is where you are going to create them. So you can just click on add page. You're still going to come back here. All right. Away from that, we have comments. So if you, especially if you have a blog, once people start making comments, you're going to see it here. Under appearance, we have themes. There are a whole lot of options too under theme, under this appearance. But once we install our theme, we are going to see them. Then for plugins, I've talked about it earlier. Then this is users. So this is where you can add users to the back end of your website. So maybe you want to grant someone else access to your website. So you can see here, add user. Now you can see I'm currently the only user here, and if I need to edit, just like when we click here, we do it from here also, you can see it here. So that's another place you can do it if you don't want to do it here. And you can add, so if you want to add user, so just come over here and click on add users. So you can see it here. Then you put in their name, their email. These two are required. So, and then a password. All right. And then you can select their role. So the role ranges from subscriber, contributor, author, editor, and then administrator. Okay. But if you are running a different kind of a niche-based website, maybe like an LMS website or a school website, there'll be more roles here, or maybe an e-commerce website. Okay, but for this, currently these are the roles available, so you can give them any role based on what you want them to do. But administrator is the highest role. All right, so even as an administrator, also you need to, one thing you need to know is that they can also, from the back end, also take you out as an admin. So you need to take note of that, although there are ways to bypass that and prevent that. Okay, so that's it on user. The next one is tools. So these are the options available on that tools. You can see it here: import, export, site health, and the likes. Okay, away from that, we have settings. So settings, we have the general settings. Let's look at the general settings. We also have the writing, reading, and the other ones. Okay, but we are going to be looking at just the general. So this way you are going to enter your site title. Okay, so this is what you're going to put in your site title, your tagline. Okay, so you can see it here in a few words, explain what this site is all about, and then your site icon. There is another place you can also put in your site icon. So, but I'll be leaving this for now. So this is where you're going to put in your site icon. Your site icon are those, your logo. You can use your logo to show on your browser tab. Okay, if you are browsing, and then especially on PC, on your desktop, once you're on the tab will show the logo of the website. So that's where you're going to upload that. So if there's any other thing you need to do here, okay, so every other thing will remain the same because you're creating especially if you're creating a service-based website. Okay, so you leave this as a subscriber. No, and under membership, just uncheck this. Anyone can register since you are not creating a website where people can register. Okay, so for the time format, you can leave it. You can just put anything that best fits based on your time and your date format. And then any changes, just go ahead and then save that. All right. So those are the options under general settings. All right. With that being done, for Lightspeed catch, remember this was a plugin I mentioned earlier that was installed for us by default. So it's basically a caching plugin. So there's another thing that I love about it is if for any reason you are making some changes on your website and those changes are not taking effect, okay, you might just need to come here and just clear your cache. So to do that, you can also come over here, click on presets, and then maybe you can start from essential. You can apply the preset, go back and refresh the page and see if those changes will occur. Okay, but in a lot of time it works. Okay. So you can also use it for image optimization, page optimization, and caching generally. Okay, so with that now I've walked you through the WordPress installation, the settings, and then the WordPress overview. Okay, just to make sure that you understand everything that is going on at the back end of your WordPress website. Okay, so with that now, the next thing we want to do is to install our theme. All right, so for you to install your theme, you come over to appearance, like you can see here, then you click on themes. So by default, you are going to have these three themes. That's the themes for the last 3 years, courtesy of WordPress itself. So these are their last 3 themes. Okay, however, before we talk more on this theme, let me show you what our website currently looks like. So let me open that in a new tab. So this is what our website currently looks like. Okay, and it is currently running on the 2025 themes. Now, themes again in simple terms. Okay, I've talked about hosting. I've explained what hosting is, what domain is, what plugin is. So for themes now, themes is what gives your website the kind of design and layouts that you can work with. Okay, that's just a simple definition of it. Another explanation of themes again is using on your phone. Also, we also have themes. Okay, so I'm trying to use an example that we can all relate with. On your phone also you have themes. There are some themes that once you install them, it changes the feels of your phone. You can change your apps icon, your keypad, the way it appears on your screen, the layout, and add maybe some animations or the like. The same thing applies here. Okay, like I said, this is what our website currently looks like, and we are running on 2025 theme. Now you see that if I should activate this 2024, you can see 2024. If I click on activate now, okay, so you can see we're currently running on 2024. So if I should come back to our website, just the same thing, and I just click on refresh, you can see that it has changed. The font has changed, the layout has changed. Okay, So if I should also do the same thing with 2023 now, if I should activate this one now, so that means we are currently running on 2023. So whatever theme you are using, that's the first one that will appear here. So if I should come back here, if I should refresh it, so you can see it's also, it changes again, the text change and every other thing. So that's to, another is to let you know what, give you understanding on how things work, right? So however, these are not the themes we are going to be using. So for this tutorial, we are going to be using a different theme. So to install that, come over here and click on add theme. Okay, so you can see we have about 7,845 themes available to us at the time of making this video. So if you scroll down, you're going to be seeing a whole lot of themes here. So you can see it here. There's over 7,000 themes that you can actually work with. Okay, so apart from the theme I'm going to be using in this video, if you are really interested in learning how to use WordPress, you can also work with other themes, okay, so that you can really have understanding on some of the features, because all of these things are quite unique. Okay, so there are some features you'll find maybe on Astra, you'll not find it on Cadence. Okay, the way Ocean WP will appear, okay, will be different from the way what was this, Unibees will appear. Okay, so these are the things that make your website unique, especially if you want to become full-time as a web into web design. Okay, using different themes will make sure your website also looks unique. They look different, you know, apart from your knowledge or how creative you can be. You know, using different themes goes a long way in making sure that your websites are all unique and not just having the same kind of website, even though it's for different businesses. Okay, so just take note of that. So that's another tip you need to also take note of. So for this now, we are going to be using a theme, and the name of that theme is called Zakra. So just come over here and search for Zakra. That's Zakra or Zakra, whichever one. So this is the one we are going to be using for this tutorial. So just go ahead and click on install. So let me confirm if my audio is still working. Okay, so go ahead and install. So it has been installed already. All right, so and then you go ahead and click on activate. Right, so guys, if you are finding value in this video, please give the video a thumbs up, and if you are still yet to subscribe, guys, go ahead right now and click on the subscribe button. All right, so now we've gone ahead and installed it. So you can see new theme activated, visit site. So let's see what our site currently looks like. Okay, so let me just go ahead and refresh this and see. So you can see it's now that's changed again. Right, that's because we've installed a new thing. Okay, all right, so take a look at what we are having here. It says start building with Zakra. So click this button. Okay, clicking this button will install and activate the theme group demo importer and block art. So that's what we want to do. So I'll go ahead and click on get started. So it's processing. While that is processing here, you notice that under appearance, we now have more options here. You know, I mentioned it earlier. Okay, so it has opened up. All right, so what we want to do now is to choose a design or a template that we are going to be working with. Okay, with Zakra now, you can actually create yours from scratch, but what we want to use now is a template. So a template is going to be working with a page builder. So I want to be using Elementor page builder. Basically, page builder is just like the name, is what we can use to create all the designs or the layouts of our website. There are actually different types, and like you can see here, we have Gutenberg, we have Elementor, we have Breezy, you know, we have page layer. There are a whole lot of them. Okay, but we're going to be using Elementor, and under this category, I'm going to be selecting free. Okay, because we want to be using a free template. Okay, so these are some templates that are available to you courtesy of Zakra. So you can see it right here, and they are looking very professional. Okay, so these are other templates that you can make use. But the one for this video now, the one I want to be using is this Dentify. You can see that it's similar to the one I showed you earlier. Okay, and just in case you want to create something different, okay, you can also go through all of these templates that are available here. You know, we've selected free, so all these ones that you're seeing here, they are free. So maybe, for example, you want to create a website for a law firm, you can see there's a template for you. You want to create something for a restaurant, you can see there's a template, or a book author, right? You want to create a website for a construction company, you can see here. A shop or an e-commerce. So there are a lot of templates that you can actually work with right here. So it's not only limited to the one we are going to be using in this video. Okay, so another thing you can also take note of is you can also use for example, now this is, I mentioned it earlier, this Dentify. So let me just go ahead and click on it while I give some explanation. For example, that Dentify is more of dental templates. That doesn't mean it's only dental websites you can use it for. If you like the templates, the layout, and the design, you can also use it for any other kind of business or services. Okay, So for this now, it's asking us if you want to change the logo. So we can still leave this for now. I'll show you where you can do that. So just go ahead and click on continue and then click on start import. Okay, so ready to import, and then you click on start import. So you can see importing your site, and this will take maybe 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, so you don't need to wait. Let me just go ahead and pause the video and then we'll be back. Now it's completed already. Congratulations. You can see import complete. Your site is now live with your selected template. So you can go ahead and visit the site. Okay, so let me just open that in a new tab. All right, so it's opening up, and then I can go back to dashboard. Now, once you're importing yours, if for any reason it didn't go through, just try it again. All right, all things being equal, it should go through. So let me just click here to go back to the dashboard. And while you can see now, our website is currently live. So if you look at it, so the domain will be live already. And then another thing you notice is if you are seeing something like this on your at the top bar, that means you are logged in, okay, as an admin or something. So that's why it's showing. But if you are checking it on a different browser where you are not logged in, that means you are logged into the back end of your website. You won't be seeing that, okay. So this is what we currently have. You can see our website is already here. Now, like I rightly mentioned earlier, so the next thing is for you to update the information, especially if it's not in line with the kind of website you want to create in terms of the services or the name of the website. For example, maybe this is you want to change your logo, you might need to change some of this text, okay, to fit the kind of website you want to create. Maybe you want to create a cleaning website, for example. So that definitely you might want to change this to maybe experience superior cleaning service today or cleaning solution today. I hope you get the idea. So in doing that, also, if you also need content for your website, you can also make use of ChatGPT to create content. So just enter in the prompt, okay, can just put in a prompt like, okay, I'm working on a website for a business called so with a domain name. Okay, so I need a professional and complete what's it called, website content. So you just put in a prompt like that, website content, showing all the necessary pages. The contact address is my for the contact phone number, the contact email. And ChatGPT will come up with something good. All right, so just be creative with whatever prompts that you want to use, and then you'll be getting content. So you can also be specific and say, okay, I need content for home, about us, services and the likes, and then you're going to see content. So once you have this content, you have idea of how you can use it to create your own website. Okay, so now the next thing I want to show you is how you can go ahead and modify any information, like I said, especially if it is not in line with the kind of service that you are looking for. But the template and the layout, if you are good with it, then that's fine, right? But with what we can see here, I believe this is good enough. All right, and again, this is not the only template you can work with. There are other templates, like I showed you earlier, that you can also import. Okay, so now let's go ahead and start updating some of this information. So to do that, let's come back to our dashboard. So this is our current dashboard. Let me delete the other one. So now you can see now you can see that we have more options right here. Okay, if I should go to, so there's something I wanted to do earlier, but because of what I clicked on, so if you should go back to appearance and then we come to themes, now you see that we already have, this is the one we are using. So if there's any theme that you're not using, I made mention of that earlier, so just go ahead and delete it. So these other themes now, we won't be needing them, so we delete that. Like I said, just to make sure it reduces space on your hosting. So this is the only thing we are using, so let's just leave that there. All right, so away from this, so if I go back to dashboard, now we have more options. We have Everest form, we have Elementor. Elementor is a page builder that we are using. So if I come to plugins now, all right, so it's because we imported the templates. You might not see when some of these plugins were installed, like this block ads, this Elementor page builder, the starter templates. You can see, I think you saw something like this that asks us to click on. Was it start now, that blue button? Okay, so we already have all of these plugins here for us. Now let's go to pages. So if you go to pages also, you can see some pages are already created for us because we imported a template, right? So if you want to see all of these pages where you have Elementor, that means the page was created using Elementor page builder, and I'll show you how to modify them. Now this one that is showing home is letting you know this is our front page, all right? So home right here, all right? So for you to edit this our home page or any other pages, now let me show you what other pages looks like before we start modifying them. So if I should, let me open them in a new tab. And let me open the blog. I think this has a blog. All right, so this is the about page. You can see it here. So this is looking good enough for a website. All right, so then this is the treatment page. So for this treatment page now, you can also use it as services. All right, because this is a dental website, that's the right word for them. They call it treatment page. You can use it for treatment, or you can also call it services. You can see, so this is more like the services that they offer: canal filling, dental crowns, teeth whitening, and the like. Okay, and again, some of this time might be different based on the kind of services that you are offering. So this is our dentist. So this is more like our page theme. I mean, our team page, okay, where you're going to list some of your staffs, okay. And if you don't want it, you can take it out, all right. And this is the contact page, all right. So let me walk you through how to edit some of the informations. I'll use the home page to explain, all right. You can see, and this is our blog. So this is how our blog currently looks like, and then you can open any of them to read any of them and see how it appears, okay. You see, and this is the sidebar, right? So that means our blog page comes with a sidebar, okay. So let me close them. So I'll use this home page to explain how you can modify the information. So the knowledge here, you can use it for to edit other pages, okay. So for you to edit this, you can come over to pages. So is the home page now. This is the home page. So you can see edit with Elementor. So let me open that in a new tab. So just go ahead and click on edit with Elementor, all right, and that will open up right here. Alternatively, if you're on the page itself, so you'll see it at the top here. Once you are logged in as an admin, you see it right here, edit with Elementor, okay. And don't forget, once you are either on desktop or mobile, if your phone is synchronized with your desktop or your laptop or system, once you access your website, you'll be seeing this at the top. So don't get freaked out. It's because you are logged in. That's why you are seeing this, okay. All right, so let's open Elementor, open up. So once the page open up, you're going to be seeing like this notification. So you can just go ahead, you can go through it or you can skip it. So, but for this, let me just go ahead and close it. All right. So what we are having here is what it looks like when you try to open up a page with Elementor. Like you are trying to edit a page with Elementor. So let me walk you through some of the things you can see on the screen. So here you're going to have a side panel. You can, you can take it in using this button. So once you press this button, you can take it in. All right. Maybe you want to see how it looks like, and then you can press it to bring it back. Okay. Everything will come back. All right, so now let me walk you through. So once you're on any page, it might not be the home page, it might be any page, you see what the page looks like, and then you're going to be having all of this. Now this is, we are seeing here, is called the structure. So basically what it does is that there are sometimes, based on the design or the layout of the website you are working on, there are some sections that you might not really be able to access, with by default. Maybe, for example, I want to click this, and it might not be accessible. The structure comes handy. Also, it makes it easy for you to locate certain elements or widgets, okay, within your website. Basically, once you start working with it, you'll be able to see it. Now, let me scroll down, for example. Let me just see this button now. With this, I've clicked on it now to locate it. That, okay, this is it, and it's currently under this particular section, okay. So it comes very handy, and if you don't want it, you can just close it. And if you need it again, look at, this is the icon here, structure, and it will come up. If you want it to be on the side, once you drag it here, you can see. But personally, I like it to be floating around so that I can have more space to work with. Now, this is for preview. So if you are making any changes and you want to preview it, once you press here, it's going to open the website in a new tab to see those changes. This is for Finder. This is for checklist, okay. Now, this is for desktop. This is to let you see what the website looks like in desktop. You're going to see what it looks like in tablet mode. This is what our website looks like in tablets, and then for mobile. Now, basically, the idea behind this is that sometimes, most times you're going to be working on your website in desktop mode. Okay, like this one, you're going to be editing it in desktop mode. You can switch between desktop and any of this other mode to see how it will look like. For instance, now on desktop mode, now let me show you this. This text looks okay in terms of the size. Okay, it's okay like this. But if you come to mobile, okay, you can see it's looking, to me, while it's looking, might be okay for some, but to me it's looking big. I can decide to, I want to reduce the size or to see how it looks like, because it happens a lot. Sometimes your website will be looking good on desktop, and then when you switch to the mobile, maybe the text is too big, or maybe the particular button is not properly aligned. Okay, all right, so that's the essence of this. So make sure when you are working on your website, you switch between your mobile, your tablet, and to make sure that everything is okay. You just don't worry. Whatever changes you make to mobile, okay, let me show you now, in case I forget to mention. Whatever changes you make to mobile will not affect the desktop, right? But take notes, you can't change the text. If you change the text on mobile, you change your text on desktop. But the editing option, for example, now if I should click on this now, and I want to do, if I come to style, so you see that if I want to make this, it's currently set to center aligned, and you can see it right here. So if I want it to be left aligned, that means it will only be left aligned for mobile and on desktop. So let me see, let me locate it on desktop. So you can see it here, but on desktop, you can see it is still center aligned. And this is what will let you know the one you're editing. So you can see the alignment for desktop is center, but if I should check it on mobile, see that it's left aligned. Okay, so but the text, once you change the text itself, like the content itself, it will change across all device type. So you need to take note of that. Okay, so that's another thing you need to take note once we are working on your website. So away from that, we have this history. So if there's any change thing you do, you want to undo them, you just click on this history so you can see it, and then you click on where you want to continue from. All right, so that's it on history. So this is for page settings, and this plus button allows you to add widgets. You know, sometimes I can call this widget, I can call it element, and these are them right here, all of this. So basically how it works is this: if you need a container or a grid for your layout, and if you want to bring in a text, we are still going to make use of them briefly. So for example, if you need a text, this is a text now, heading. All right, so and again, if you want to know what they use for any of this, just click on it and then check the text that come after edits. So that means this was used, this an heading, I mean this is an heading or a heading. This is a text editor, so you can see it here, text editor, so you see it here. For this now, let's see what they used to create this. Everest form, that's a particular plugin we saw earlier, was what they used to create this particular widget you are seeing here. If I should scroll down, if I should click here, this is image. So they use image. Now, how do you get them? So if I click on this plus now, if I need heading, I can just drag it into wherever I want it. Okay. If I need image, I'll come over here. I can drag it to anywhere I want the image. So you can see we have a whole lot of them: button, spacer, icon. All right. So one thing you also need to take note of, now this pro one are not available to us. We are using, because Elementor page builder comes both for free and then the pro version. But even with the free version, you can still have a good website. Okay. So there are a whole lot of them. We have tabs, accordion, image box, icon box. Now, if you are creating your website, definitely you will not use everything. Okay, you will not use everything, but you know, there are a lot of options available to you that you can actually use to create your website. And there are some other plugins that comes with some more features that you can make use of when creating your website. Okay. All right. So once you start using them, because I'm going to use them to explain something for you briefly. So apart from that, we also have this global is for the pro. All right, so if you also click on this icon, if you want to do some site settings or you want to exit out of this, you can also do that. All right, so let me, okay, so for page settings now, if you click on page settings, so this is where you can set, these are the settings available there. It's currently set to published. If you want to add a featured image for this particular page, as it's most times that's what will show up in your search engine, but you can overwrite that using a particular plugin called SEO. There's a separate video tutorial on that, so you can also check that out. All right, so allow comments is currently set to no, hide title is currently set to no. Okay, so those are the options available under page settings. All right, so if I click here now under site settings, let me show you one or two things there. So if I click on site settings now, so guys, if you are finding value in the video, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up if you are yet to. All right, so under this site settings, you can see these are the options available there. You have global colors and global fonts. So this is where you can set the colors that you want to be using for your website. Okay, basically it makes it easy when you are working on your website, so that to ensure consistency in your color and to make your work much more easier. All right, so you can just come here and add whatever color that you're going to be using. And again, if once you are also designing, if there's any color you use, you can go ahead and save them. They will all appear here. Okay, so let me just delete that. So that's for the global colors. Okay, so the next one is also global fonts. So just like we have global colors, this is where you can set the fonts you want to be using. So it will save you the stress of picking the fonts over and over again. So you can add your own fonts here for primary, secondary text, and accents. All right, so away from that, typography too, you can also set your typography, and those are the major things anyway. And if you can also touch the site identity, there's a separate place where you're going to work on the site identity. All right, and then layout, if you just need to touch any of this, okay, they are self-explanatory. All right, so away from site settings, so now we are back to the home. Now anything changes you do, anything you add, or you know, always make sure you publish this, like saving everything. Okay, just make sure you save it so that anything that you do, any design, any layout, or anything you bring into your website will be remain there. So always remember to publish. Okay, so now what I want to do now is let's create a particular section of this page that I can really walk you through how to navigate this page builder. So to illustrate that, I'll be creating this first section, so which is referred to as banner. So all this structure, in case you want to rename yours, once you double click on it, you'll be able to give it a name. All right, so that's how to rename that. So I'll show you how you can recreate this particular section here, or this particular container, so that you can really understand how to make use of some of these elements. So to start with, I'll just be creating it right underneath. So if I click on this plus, okay, if you even scroll down, so you see it here. All right, if you want to continue, but I'll just be doing it just underneath it. Okay, I believe you learn one or two things while I do this. So if I click on this plus, I come here, I click on plus. I'm going to be using a flex box. I'm not going to be using this direction column. Okay, we have this direction column, we have this double column. Let's see, and then we have this different structure. So I'll be using this. All right, so this is it right here. Now, if you also want to, while you are also practicing, if you want to also understand some of the things that is within here, so once you click on this arrow, this drop down, you're going to see we have two containers. Inside the container, we have a text, we have text editor, we have another container that is housing this other container, and this container, having this image. Okay, so it might be confusing. Don't let me go too much with that. All right, so we already have this. I'm going to come over here and click on this plus. All right, so once you click here, you're going to be seeing this option full width. All right, and then you are going to have this minimum height. So this is talking about the height of that particular. So you can see if I should increase it now to, let's say, 500. Okay, so you can see we already have it from here to here. All right, so that's it right here. Okay, now what I want to do is let me bring in a background so that you'll be able to see some of the text. So for you to add background, so just click here, then you come over to style. Now, I didn't mention this earlier. For any widgets or elements that you're bringing in, so for example, for this text now, there's always this three column. We have content, style, and then advanced. Okay, this is for the content. This is where you are going to style it. You can see for heading, you can set the alignment, you can set the typography. Under typography, you set the size, the weight, that's how thick or how light you want it to be. If you want to transform it to either uppercase, lowercase, you can see if you want to style it here, maybe you want it to be oblique, italic, or default, so you do that here. If you want to add line height or line spacing, okay, so those are the options under typography. We have text stroke, shadow stroke, and under advanced also we have these options for layout where you can add margin and padding. Okay, and let me talk about that real quick. So let me use this heading to explain it. First, if you leave this, it is linked together. That means if you want to add margin around this particular one, let me see, I want to put in, I should put in 50 now. Okay, you notice that there's a space right here around it, outside of this heading itself. Remember, it's this heading we are editing. You can see edit heading. We are editing. That's created space around it. That's because I only typed it 50 here, and that's because it is linked. Okay, so if I should unlink it now, and maybe at the top I put in 50. Okay, that's 50. There's a space at the top. You might not see it so clearly. Let's see. Let me remove the 0. All right. So you see at the top, that's 50. Right, so let me return it back to default. Now for the padding, now if I should now go to the top and add another 50 padding this time around, you see that it will create a space at the top of this, but it is within this pink box. Okay, so basically that's the difference between padding and merging, because it can be confusing for you as a beginner. All right, so that's just the difference between padding and merging. So I can just go ahead and close this back. Okay, so apart from layouts, we have other options like motion effects. If you want to add some animation to all of this, like maybe this is pro, but we have access to the, maybe for example you want it to fade in so you can see, or you want it to zoom in. All right, so all of this effect, I believe you must have come across it on some other websites. Okay, this is how they do it. Okay, so but if you don't want it, you can just disable it. Okay, so none. All right, so away from that, the other things, background, border, if you want to add border, if you want to max it, All right, so a whole lot of other options. Again, you might not need to use everything, okay, but you can just test your creativity with that. If you want to add your text color, so you can see text color. If you want to add some over effect, that if I click on over, now means if I over this image, maybe I want the color to change to red, okay. Okay, sorry for this. This is for link color, rather for link color. So assuming this is a link now, it will change to red. So let me come to home. So let's say I added a link to it. Maybe it's linking to a particular page, okay. So you can see it. So that means it's working because it's a link, but it's not linking to any page. That's why it didn't work earlier when I tried to overwrite. So those are some of the effects that are available. If you want to add text shadow, if I should enable this, you can see there's a shadow and you can walk around this shadow. Let me undo that. If you want to add text stroke, okay, so you can also see, you can also do that. All right, so let me turn it back to default. So all of these are the options available to you when you are working with Elementor. All right, so for this now, I want to add, so for this that we've created, let me bring in a container again inside this particular container. So I drag this and I place it in, okay. So for this entire container itself, all right, for this entire container, I want to add a background image. So that's why I click on this purple. This is another container right here, and this is another one. So I want to add a background image. I've clicked on it. That's taking me to style. Under background, we have normal and over. So I believe you should have understand what over means. Then once you over that particular section, what do you want to happen? So for the background, we have classic. That means if you want to use a single color for your background, or you want to use an image, you can also use a color. You can also use image. You can do that. If you want to use gradients, maybe like 2 colors, okay, so you can come here and pick the 2 colors that you want to use for your background, okay. So let's see. So maybe you want to use 2 colors. Come here and you select the 2 colors that you want to use, okay, and then you can set the location for those colors. You can set the angle, right? So the reason why I'm just going through this is to make sure that, so for you to see the different possibility that is available. If you want to also use a video, all right, you just come here and put in a video link from YouTube, all right, and then the other settings available: start time, the end time. Do you want it to be as a loop? You want it to play on mobile, okay. Sometimes you might not want the video to show on mobile, and the likes. So but for this now, what they use is just come to gradients and then add image. So let me look for that image that was used right there. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, let me, is this it? All right, so that's not it anyway, but let me just make use, now let me just make use of this image right here, okay. All right, so once you select the image, there are other options that will be available to you. If you want to the full resolution, the position, you can set it to center, so you can see. You can also add, maybe you want it the default, you can also put it to scroll or fixed. So fixed is it will just be fixed, and then your content can just scroll over it. So let me just return it back to default. So for size, I want it to, is it cover? Right. So that's it for that. You can also set it to a custom or whatever you want to do. All right. So let's see. Okay, let me try and use this, because if I decide to use this black will not allow this text to show. So those are things you need to take note. But if you want to overwrite that, another thing you can do is to add a background overlay. So the meaning of that background overlay is, for example, you might have a background image, and if you try to put the text on it, the text will not show, because maybe because of the contrast is not balanced properly. So for you you can just bring in a background overlay. You can also use a classic color or use a gradient. So let me use gradient now. Let me use white. Let me use white, okay. Then maybe a shade of something like this. Okay, and then let me now set the location. This also. And then I can decide to rotate it. Okay. Then for the angle, all right, I can decide. So you can use 2 different colors. So with this now, I believe the text will show up properly. All right. Now for this now, the height here is really shorter. I intentionally did that so I can see everything here. Remember, for this now, I used a minimum height of, let's see, I've clicked on this now. Then I'll come to layout. It's under layout. I use 500. Let's see what they used here. For this one now, they use, you can see 1040. I mean, 1140. Okay, they use a full width. I mean, so this for the width. They use the, I think this is the full height for this. Okay, but we'll still come back to that. So now, the next thing I want to bring in now is this that we are having right here. So what I will do is I'll click on this plus. Under heading, I'll just drag it in. Okay, so then what do we have here? Experience superior dental, and let me just copy the text. I can come and paste it here. Okay. Okay, so I copied that. Yeah, so now let me now format this properly. Let me see the font that was used here for this. Now I should come to style for typography. So the name of the font is called Lato, and they use size 46. And that's the weight. So come to style. It's not compulsory to use their own type of fonts, but I just want to. So I just look for Lato. So this is it right here, and then the size. So you can use a size that best fits. I think they use a 40 or what's there. So let me just use 40. All right, and then for the color, I think this is black. So this is where you have, so you can see text color. Let's click here, and then black. Let's just use this black. Okay. All right. So you see that this comes down like this. So what they did there was they added some padding to the right of this text. So I'll come to advanced, and then on link it at the right, they added a padding of 250. I don't know if you saw it earlier. So apart from adding a padding to it, okay, they actually use a 2 column, but I'm using 1 column, but it doesn't matter. They're actually different way of achieving things right here using Elementor page builder. But if you also want the text to come on the second line, there's another thing you can also do. From this dental solution, I can come here under content, and then I'll just put in this code here. This less than R. That's to create a break, a line break. So to have this space that you are seeing in between, what I'll do is I'll come to style. I'll come to typography. Under line height, look at it, line height. I'll increase the line height. Okay, so let's say whatever line height, let's say 66. Okay, so you can see, so 66 here. All right, so at least we've been able to achieve this. This is it right here. All right. Okay, I think this is looking bigger, but doesn't mean. I hope you got the concept. Now, next is for this. Now, for this, now they use a text editor. So let me copy this. So what was used here is a text editor. So I'll just click on the plus here. So this is text editor. I'll drag it just below here. All right, and then I can paste the text. Okay. So under this also, there are different formatting options once you come to style. So typography, if you want to increase the size, you can also increase the size of this. And then you also add line height. So once it comes to the second side, you add some line heights to this also. Okay, so let me still leave this like this. I hope you get the concept. Now for this other part now, you see that they brought in another container. Okay, and the reason is that they brought in an image and 2 texts. So now this, I want you to pay attention to what's going on here. This is so what I'll do is I'll bring in a container. Now inside this container, we have an image and we also have a text. So for me to achieve this, I'll have to bring in 2 other containers. So I'll click here, bring in, this is container 1. So we already have 2. You can see this is the initial one, this is the one we brought in. So now we'll go ahead and bring, this is an image. So if I click, you can see this is an image, and right here is another container, right? So what we'll do is let's bring in the image first. So I'm back to our own right here. So I'll click on this plus, and then I'll bring in an image. So I'll drag in this image in. Okay, so then I'll go and look for that image right here. So this is it right here. So I'll just click on it, click on select. Okay, so you can see this is the image right here. Now next to this image, we have another container that is having this text here. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll drag in another container. So I'll click on this plus. Okay, so don't let this thing to confuse you. Okay, I know this might be look too technical for the beginner, but it's good luck in helping you. All right, so these two now have been housed under this main container right here. All right, so for this now, we also have this text right here, this heading text, and this is this also an heading text editor, right? So if I should click on plus now, I'll copy this heading and drag it in here. So what we have is 15 plus. So I'll just put in 15 plus, 15 plus years. 15 plus years. And then, so let me just go ahead and style this. So for the typography, we'll make it small. So let's say 10. The 10 is looking quite small. So let's say 15 or 18. So for the color now, let's set it to this shade of black. All right. And then under it, I have this text editor. So I'll click on this plus right here, bring in this text editor. And then that's where we have professional dentist. This is it right here, professional dentist. So I'll just change this to professional dentist. Right. So some designs can be as should I use the word complicated as this? Some can be as easier than this. So I won't be styling this to match what we have at the top. Okay, but I believe by now you should be able to do that. Now, how do we now set up this to look like this? Okay. So number one is to the container, this second layer container. Once you click on it, okay, we want all the text, okay, to be, let's see. So for this now, we want all the text to come towards the left. Okay, we want to adjust them. So let me move it like this so you can see it here at the start of it. So that is for this. So on this same container here, I'll set it to row so you can see it, so that it can be on the same row. All right. So another thing you also notice is that they are both aligned, unlike what we are having here. Okay, so I'll click here and then I'll come over here to center. All right, so that's center. Okay, so with this now, we've been able to achieve what we have here. This is it. And now the only difference here is that this one is having more space compared to this, and that's because we didn't use the same what's it called, the same font size and the likes. Okay, but you can also do that from your hand. So with that, we've been able to achieve this. All right, so the next one is what we are having here, and this was done using another container. So what we'll do is we bring in another container again, you click on the plus and then you drag that one below it. So this is a separate container now. You are not bringing it into any of this. Okay, now for this particular container, you have the background to be set to white, and then you'll notice that the edges are curved. Okay, so for you to achieve that, so for this container that we are on, you come to style, you choose the background type, and then it's a color. So you come here and you can select the color. Now if you use any color and you want to save it so that you can use it again, just click on this plus and then you'll be able to save that color. Once the color is saved, that's when you click on this custom and then you pick it from here. Okay, all right, so this white, and then you notice that the edges are curved. So for you to achieve that, you come to border. You can see under border radius, you can increase it to whatever border radius you want to use to create that curve. Right, so I currently set it to 20, so you can see it here. So if I should take it in, okay, we've not added any widget to it, that's why it's not showing up well. Okay, so that's how you can add curve to it. If you also want to add some border color, you want to add shadow, okay, so you can see you can add shadow to it. Okay, and some shape divider, but we won't be using that. Okay, so what we want to bring in is this right here, and this was done using Everest form. Okay, so what we'll do is let's click our plus, and then let's look for that widget Everest. Let me close this guy. Yes. I'm taking time to on this, which I'm so just to make sure you understand some of these designs and layouts that you can make use of. Okay, so now we select the form, appointment form. Okay, so you can see this is it right here. Okay, so with that, we've been able to recreate what we are having here. Now you'll notice that this is stopping somewhere here. All right, so at the beginning of this section, where we started creating this section. All right, okay, another thing you notice that there is a space. There are quite a number of space above it and around this particular one, so you can see it here. So that space is padding. I talked about it earlier, so I'll click on it right here. I come to advanced. So now you can see that for this particular widget, we only have content and advanced. This one doesn't come with style. Okay, so it can depend. I mean, it can, it depends. So let me unlink this. So at the top, let me add a padding of, let's say, 20. Okay, then I can just add 20 all through. Okay, I think that should be fine. Okay, should we use margin? I think that was what was used here. Okay, so let's use margin. So let's use a margin of 20. All right, so that's how you can use to create space. Okay, so depending on what you want to achieve, you can start to use margin or padding. All right, so the next thing we want to do is, you can see that the height is not enough compared to what we have here. Right, so for you to achieve that, you come here again, and then you can increase the height. Okay, so again, you'll notice something, that all the text are towards the top, unlike what we have here that is more at the center. So for you to achieve that, you click on this pink one that is holding everything. Okay, and then you come over here and you select center, so you can see it's now at the center. So don't forget to always publish. It's very important. So I've sent it in. So with that, now I've been able to walk you through the process of how this was created. And I believe you've learned how to navigate some of these things. Now, the reason why this is shorter here and this is longer here, something happened at the beginning. Let me show you. Okay. So at the beginning, when we started, I made use of, if I should open this, I made use of this direction column for this particular one. What they actually used there was this. Okay, so let me bring it in. Or don't let me use this one. Instead of adjusting, let's use an already adjusted one. All right. So I click on the plus again. So I click on this plus and I use Flexbox. Let's use this. Okay. So what I would do is, once I've selected this, let me change the direction so that this can come here. So this half portion we are seeing here. So that means all these designs that we made use of was done within this container, not the entire container rather. Okay. So this space that we are seeing here, if you look closely, I don't know if you can see it. You see it right here. Okay, so that's the space here. So what they did again was just to also probably adjust it, to divide the ratio, probably 80-20. Okay, so that means all the designs that we did here, you can just do it within this space, right? So that will give us more space towards here, and this will extend to the end. All right, so it depends on what you intend to achieve and what you want to do. Okay, so it all depends on you. Now let me also show you this. Let me publish this now. So let me go ahead and delete this. Okay, now for this, now if I should click on this one that we just done now, and I remove the background overlay. I come here, then the background overlay, and let's say I take it out. So you see what happened. You see that where this background image is, there's a black text written over it. It's not visible again. You can't see it. So that's just the advantage of background overlay. And sometimes you also need to make sure that whatever image you are using in a situation like this, you also need to consider if whatever text you are putting over it will be visible. But if it's not going to be visible, you can add some background overlay to it. Okay, that goes a long way in helping you. So with this now, let me just go ahead and delete this. Okay, because I only created it for just to walk you around Elementor. So the same thing applies to what we have here. For this now, they use two sections. Okay, so I'm not creating this. Okay, I'm not creating this at all. Okay, so but with what I've showed you earlier, you should be able to walk around Elementor page builder. All right, so but for the one this at the top now, what they use was this now. You can see, because if you look at it closely, you see that we have two columns. Okay, we have two columns. They brought in this is the first container here. You can see we have another container right here, and then we have and this is having a title. It should be a text editor, and let's see what widget is this. So if I should click on it now, okay, these are just heading and text editor. Okay, so basically what you might just want to do is not to recreate things. Okay, you might not need to create things. Yours is just to come in and modify the information. All right, the reason why I went through the other one is just in case you want to create a section, and if there's any section you don't like in this particular template or any other template you're using, you can just delete them. Okay, you can just delete them. Okay, so if you want to edit this, just click on it. You add, remember I said you can use this for your services section. You can say best place for all kind of treatment. Let's say you offer cleaning service. You can say, okay, best place for all kinds of cleaning service. You had a short text, then you can go ahead and change, okay, maybe this alignment treatments to industrial cleaning. You put a small text, and then you put this. If you don't want this, click here. That's if you create a separate page for all the service, you can just from here you add a link to it, so that once they click on it, to take them to the page. All right, maybe you can use this for industrial cleaning, residential cleaning, post-construction cleaning. I hope you got the idea. And this view more, you can link it to your services page. You can see this was linked to the treatment page, so that you can see a whole lot of other things, right? So it all depends on you. So with that now, don't forget to always publish whatever changes you make. So that is it on how to navigate Elementor. All right, so with enough practice, you understand everything that just happened. Okay, so now let's move to the next part of this video. So now we are currently on the back end of our website. Okay, so next I want to show you how to create a page. Okay, I mentioned it earlier, but I want to show you something. So I click on page, you click on add page. All right, so this is where you're going to put in your page name. So maybe, for example, now if you look at our website, maybe we don't have a page for FAQ, that's frequently asked question, or any other page. You can just put in your page title, FAQ. Go ahead and publish. Okay, so the default template is quite okay. So if the default template is not okay, you can switch between page builder. All right, so this canvas is mostly going to create a page that won't have header or footer, maybe like a landing page. Okay, and sometimes it depends on the theme. Some theme, their own is always full width. Okay, so some of this option varies with theme, and some themes will even have more options than this. Okay, so that I just decided to mention that. But if the default fits other pages, just leave it as default. So this is it here on that pages. All right, and then this is for discussion is set to close. If you don't want people to make comments on that particular page where you don't want to have a comment section, so make sure this is set to close. Okay, so what else again? So those are the things there, and then you can go ahead and publish. Click on publish. Okay, so let me view the page. So let's view the page. All right, so this is the FAQ page. All right, now you can see what I'm saying now. For this particular page now, it has a sidebar. Okay, and we don't want a sidebar, so I can come back here and then close this, and then I'll change it to page builder, and then I save. So let me come here and refresh. Okay, so this is better. So page builder. So while you are just seeing this header side, and then you are seeing the footer immediately, is because we've not added contents to this page. So for you to do that, so you come here and then you do edit with Elementor. Okay, so it will open up, and then you start your design process. Remember, we've gone through the Elementor section before, so you can start to create your page using Elementor. All right, so you can see this space in between this header and this. Okay, so and if you also don't want this header, there's an option where you can also take this out. All right, so let me go back, so I can just exit to WordPress. Okay, so it will take me back to the page. So once I'm back to the page, I'll just click here and then it will take me back to my dashboard. All right. Again, if you want to also come back to your dashboard, you can, don't forget, I said you should always use your domain name /wp-admin. Okay, so always come back to your own page. All right, so that's it on how to create a page. I've talked about how to create a blog using the post. All right, so the next thing I want to show is how to create your menu. All right, so let's go back to the home. So if you want to create this kind of menu, or you want to add any other page to this menu, so let me show you how to do that. Okay, so you come over to appearance, and then you see this option where we have menu, so you click on it. All right, so you can see these are all the menus we currently have. All right, we currently have the primary and then the quick links. Okay, but we are currently on the primary menu. If you want to edit the quick links, let's see if we have, remember we imported this template, so they already have the quick links. So this is their quick links, and this is the primary. I think they are the same thing. Okay, if you want to create a new one, you can do that here. All right, so if you want to add something else to this menu, first you have to create a page for it. Maybe, and for example, I think we created this FAQ page. Okay, look at it here. So what you do is, if you view all, and then you select whatever you want to add. So I click on it, and I click on add to menu. You can see it has been added. And this menu here, you can also rearrange it. Maybe you want your FAQ to come before your contact page. You can see you can just drag to rearrange it. And if you want to create a sub menu, so you have something like this. So that means once somebody over contacts or this contact, the FAQ will show up, right? So maybe you want them to click on it before it show up, or they over it. It all depends on you. So this is how you do it. Okay, so once you are done with that, you save. You can also use a post as a menu. So maybe, for example, you want to add this post to show up on the menu. So you can just click on it and then click on add to menu. You can also use custom links. Maybe you want to have a page on your menu that is not a page on your website. Okay, so you can also do that. Maybe you want to use a sign up or something, and it could be anything, just a link. You want to send it to a link, but you want it to be on your menu, you can also do that. Now, once you are doing that, this is where you're going to put in the links, you're going to put in the text that will show on the menu. All right, and if you want to use categories, it all depends on what you are working on. Now, for example, like this, now if I decide to add this to the menu, it won't be looking too good because this text is too long. So what I will do is I can click here, and then I can change this. For example, importance of regular dental checkup. Okay, so I can just, maybe I just want dental or maybe I just want checkup or dental tip. So instead of showing that long text, this short text makes more sense. All right, so whatever you do, just make sure you go ahead and save. Right, so basically that is how you create your menu. This is for the menu. If you want to have different menu for a different section on your website, maybe for the footer, you want to create a separate structure for your footer. So what you do is you can create a new one. So you click on create new menu, and then you can name it maybe footer. And the reason why you might want to do this is sometimes there might be some, I click on create menu. Okay, so now I can go ahead and add whatever I want to add. Maybe I just want these 3 pages to show at the footer. Okay, so the reason why you might want to do it, don't forget to always save, is that sometimes you might have a top menu like this, a main menu, and maybe you want below it, I don't want a particular page to show, to be on this footer menu. Okay, so you can create a separate menu for that. All right, so with that, now let me come back and refresh, and let's see. Okay, so if I should refresh now, so you can see now we already have our FAQ, we already have our dental tip. Okay, so this is where this one is, but you can always rearrange like I mentioned earlier. So if I come here, click on select, so you can see it here. So you can always rearrange them to fit what you want to do. Okay, all right, so that's it on how to create menu. Now the next thing we want to look at is the customization option. All right, so let's see, let me see. So let me save this. Right, so that's saved already. So for the customization option, if you come to appearance and then you click on customize, okay, so guys, if you are finding value in the video, please give the video a thumbs up if you are still yet to. All right, so now this is the customization option, and this is what it looks like. Now, just like Elementor, it is also show up as Elementor, but this is working for the entire website itself. You're going to see the options that are available here, and then you're going to see your website on the side. Okay, so, and there's an option to also publish. All right, now if you are working with a different theme, you might see different options there, but there are some things that are similar, maybe like site identity, additional CSS, but the way the options that are available here will differ. right? So you need to take note of that. So once you start working with other themes also, and then you come across something different, don't freak out. They are not always the same thing. Okay. So on that global, so there's an option to also set the typography. All right. You can see the Lato themes we were seeing earlier on Elementor. You can see it here, it's appearing here. So this way you can also set your typography for your website. You can also set your color, okay, your theme color and the likes. Now, advantages of some of these things is that if for any reason you want to change it, maybe you want to change a particular color, it will change across the entire website instead of you going in to change this one after the other. So if you change the typography maybe from Lato to a separate one, it will easily change instead of you to be going from one section to another or from one container to another to change it. Okay, so that's the advantage of setting some of these things. If you can also set your layout, do you want it to be narrow? So if I select narrow now, you'll see how it will look like. Okay, you can't really see it here. Okay, and then let's just set it back to normal. Okay, and again, if for any reason you select any option and you can't really see any changes, okay, because it will show you the change here, just return it back. You can see I set it to narrow. You can't really see the effect of me changing it to narrow. Okay, what did I do? I return it back to normal. So take notes of some of those important things. So if I put it to box style now, so you can see for box style, what did it do? It's put the website in a box form where we are having space on both ends. Okay, so if you want it like that, fine. If you don't want it, uncheck this. All right. So because sometimes if you select an option and you didn't see any change, maybe later you just notice the change. Sometimes you might do some change, you might not really notice it. Okay, maybe later you see the effect and you might not even know what you clicked or what you select. All right, and that is why again when I click on narrow, you can see it's telling me that it's taking effect. The effect has taken place, but I can't really see it. What did I do? I'm sending it back to normal. Okay. All right. So whatever you do, always remember to publish. So that's away from there. This is for button. So if you have button on your website, you can also set them up here. Okay. That's if the button was created using the website itself, like WordPress page itself, not Elementor. It won't overwrite Elementor's page button. Okay. Away from that, we also have the header. So this is our header right here. Okay. So this is where you can set up your header. You can see this that we are having here, this HTML. So if I should click on it, site logo and title. This is where you can put in your title, your site title, and then your tagline. So this is where you put in your, I'll show you a separate place where you can put in your logo. So enable title, this is where you're going to put in your site title, like, okay, maybe the name of your business. Okay, so let me just say this is Prosper Dental Services. So make sure you put in your site title and then your tagline. It will help you for SEO purposes. Okay, so I can just put in professional dental service in Ibadan location. All right, so something like that. Then you can put in your logo here. So if okay, I think I said I'm going to show you where else you can put in your logo. So you can also set your logo, I mean the heights. Let me return it back to default. Okay, then your site title, if you want your site title to show, you can see to show right here. That's if you don't have a logo, you can use your site title in place of your logo. All right, but I already have a logo, so I don't want it to show, but I want it to be within the website that this is the site title, because the site title is what will show on your browser tab when you're on your own page. So it's very important to put something relevant for SEO purposes. Like I say, okay, Prosper Dental Services, then I can just have something like dental service in Lagos. Dental services in Ibadan. I'm using Ibadan right now. In Ibadan, right? And have something like this. This is what will show up on your browser tab when somebody's on your website. So you can see it helps for SEO purpose and the likes. Okay, but I don't want it to show here, so I can just disable it. Also the tagline, I don't want it to show here. I'll just disable, but again, it is still within the website. You can see it here. So I'll go ahead and publish. And remember when we were on settings, when we went to general, there was an option for us to add site title and tagline. Okay, so those are the options there under logo. And then if you come here, if you click here now, this is for HTML2. This is it right here. Yeah, that's what is working for this social icon. All right, so there's other way you can also create your header. I will still talk about that briefly. Okay, so these are all the things that are available at the top here, and then this is our primary menu. Okay, and this is the menu you are seeing right here. You can set how you want the menu to appear. It's currently set to this. Do you want underline border? Do you want to write border? So let's see. So you can see it's having some underline right here. So this is where you can select the effect. You can also set the color. You also set the color for the sub menu. You can see this is the sub menu now. It has appeared based on how we structure the menu. So you can set the color. You can see border color is set to this. It all depends on you. Okay, so let me go back. And if you want to add any other thing, you can play around with this. Okay, so that's it for header. If I should leave there to post content, this is for blog. So let me open the blog page. So this is where you're going to set up your blog. How do you want your blog page to look like? So you can see it right here. Okay, this is how you can set that up. How do you want single posts to look like? Okay, so once you open up a single blog post, how do you want it to look like? You can see that this is the sidebar layout. You have a right sidebar. And if you look at our blog post, we are having a right sidebar. So if you want it to be a left sidebar, so you can see it here. I can say maybe I want my sidebar to be on the left. This is it. And maybe I don't want sidebar. I'll say no sidebar. So you can see it here. So all this is a matter of preference. And this meta post elements, okay, you want the featured image, the title. This is it, featured image. Then the title will come in. Okay, this is the title right here. And then the contents. Okay, so you can structure all these things how you want it to appear. Okay, so let me go back. Close. So there's metal. This is how you want it to the layout. I think it has to do with this. If you change it to this. Okay, did you see any change? Okay, I think it will appear on the blog page itself. Okay, so all of these layouts are things that you can do. The page header, everything has to do with the blog. So make sure you're on the blog page so that you can see the effect of anything that you are selecting under this post content. Now let's go to footer. So the same thing with the header. Also, you can also do that with the footer, right? So if you want to change anything, this copyright, copyright, this is it right here. So this is where you can change it. You can change it to, okay, website built with Zakra theme. You can say built. I always like to write built and manage by Digitech. Okay, so you can link this now to your website. So I highlight it, I click on this, and then I can just put in my website, padgtech.com. All right, so okay, so you can just be creative with all of this, and then you can set the color and the likes. Okay, and then the contacts right here. Let's see what was used. So if you want to update this for this widget 4, you can select the title. So let me click on this. All right, so once you click on that, footer 3. So that's widget 3. So this is working for the color. This is where you want to change the color. I'll show you where you can change this information itself. Okay, on that way. But this has to do with the link color. You can see the link color and then the alignment and everything. Okay. All right. So let's X away from this. Then for additional optimization, this is disabled. Unlock more features in Pro. Then this is for scroll to the top. This is it right here at the lower right. If you don't want it, you can disable it. And then breadcrumb, it has to do with your layouts. It appears on the blog page earlier. All right, and then widget. Okay, so this is the widget side. Okay, not here. We're still going to come back to something like that. Now let's go to the next one, which is site identity. So this we are going to add the options available here, just to add your browser tab, I mean your site icon. And we've done this earlier, remember, under general and settings. So there's nothing to do here. Header media, it was not used here. Okay, the header media, this is it right here, previously uploaded. Okay, but I don't think it was used. Okay, let's go back. Then for menu, we've already talked about menu. All right, so view or menu location, this is your primary menu, but this is the only menu they are using. All right, so let's see what the next one is. Widgets. Okay, then widget area. Okay, so we are still going to come back to another widget. Homepage set. Now this is what you're going to set in your homepage by default. Remember, because we imported the template, our homepage has been set for us. So, and this is a website, so our home should be our homepage. That means the page that will show up when people go on your websites. All right, remember, some blogs, if you go on some blogs, what will show up is their current post. Okay, So whatever page you want people to come across, the first page that people will come across when they go to your website, this is where you are going to set that. And by default, it's always set to home, right? So with that, that is it on that. Don't forget to always publish anything that you do under the customization option. So with that, now I can go ahead and close this. So we've looked at customize, we looked at menu. Now the next one is widgets. Now for the widget, this is where you set in your sidebar. Remember when we opened our blog page, we had a sidebar. So this is where you can select what you want to appear on your sidebar. You can see there's a plus icon, which is blocking startup. So this is where you can put in what you want to have on your sidebar. Okay, let me show you our sidebar. It's under our blog. Let me open a particular blog now so that you can see it. So you can see we have search, recent posts, recent comments. So this is where you can do that. You can see the search, recent posts, and the recent comments. Okay, so if you want to add any other thing, maybe you want to put in an image, maybe like a banner or an ad, you can do that. If you want to have social icon, you know, there are a lot of things that you can actually choose from right here to add to that. Okay, so let me close that. So away from that, if you want to also use a left sidebar, then for column 1, let's see, there's nothing under column 1. Now our core interest is our footer. So let me show you our footer. So we have 3 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I come to our footer 1 now, so this is where you can put in your about us contents. Okay, so if you want to put in anything for your about us, for your column 1, and if you don't want to use about us, you can see about us, and then you put in your contents right here. Okay, so that's it for footer 1. Let's look at footer 2. So footer 2 is where you have your all of these links. Okay, your navigation menu, that's the blog that was inserted here, navigation menu. Okay, so that's it for, you can see it here, the title is quick links, and then you select which of the menu, which is main menu here. All right, so the next one is footer 3. Let me show you. So this is for footer 3 here. So what they brought in was just text to input all this value here. Okay, so that was what was used right here. All right, and then for the fourth one also was text. Okay, so that's how, so this way you can update the information here on your footer. All right, and then let's see. Okay, I think I showed you how to change this. The same way we change this is the way you can also change this. Now let me just add this as an additional thing. If you want to create a custom kind of footer that's different from this, you want to use Elementor to create a footer, you can download this plugin. So let me quickly show you. So guys, if you are finding value in this video, please give the video a thumbs up. Okay, that's an ultimate add-on, ultimate add-on for Elementor. Let's see. All right, this plugin. So let me just quickly install and activate. I'll just show you real quick. So install and activate. So that's how you can add plugins to your website. You just look for the plugin you want to add, install and activate it. Okay. Right, so it has opened up. Well, let me exit this setup guide, but you can just go through. I would strongly recommend you go through the setup guide, but I don't want to go through it. I don't want the videos to be too longer than necessary. So let me just exit it. Okay, so what you do is, this is it right here. You see header and footer. So what you want to do is you want to add new. So you can, under header and footer, add new, click on add new. So what you want to add is a footer. Okay, so just if you want to create your own custom footer, the reason why I like this is that it gives you the opportunity to create more custom kind of footer. Exactly. So maybe you don't want this kind of, this looks good already, it looks very simple, but maybe you want something different. Okay, so you put it here, you select type of template, you want to do footer, then you select where you want it to display on the entire website, definitely, and then user role, you can select it to all. All right, so once you are done with that, you go ahead and publish, and then you come here and click on edit with Elementor, and it will open up in a new Elementor page. So now it has opened up. Now since it's a footer you want to create, you come over here and click on plus, so you can maybe want to do 3 or 4, so maybe 4 layouts. So that was a browser issue. So I click here again, I click on this, All right, so you can see now I have 4 different layer section now. I can decide to now bring in whatever it's I want to use to do my footer. Okay, maybe I want to start with an heading. So I'll bring in an heading. I can say, okay, this is my contacts. So let me just contact. Okay, so you can go ahead and format it. You do the sizing and the color and everything. Okay, so maybe I want to also, I can be creative with this. Maybe I want to add a divider. So the essence of that divider is just to create a line. So the width of the line. Okay, and then, you can just be creative with this. The width of the line, maybe I just want it to be 1.5. All right, then after that, I can bring in my text editor. Under this, then I can put in my contact information, my phone number and email. And if I don't want to use this, I can also use tab or list. I call it list. Okay, so I can also use this to create my contact. Now maybe it's a home address, for example, or maybe I want to put in my phone number, or just put in a call icon. Okay, that means the icon is called phone. Okay, insert, then I can just put in, okay, maybe I want to put in my contact, So, but you still go ahead and put in, yeah, I'll do that. And then I can just do for email. So maybe info at whatever, like your domain name, okay, .com. So I'll change this icon to envelope. Okay, let me just use this. All right, and if you want to link it so that once they click on it, they can go straight to your email. You put in mail to, so that's another tip right there, mail to, and then you put in your email again, info at. So once they click on it, it will take them to send you email automatically. And then for phone number, if you want to do the same for phone number, under link, just put TEL and then your colon, and then you put in your phone number again. So once they click on it, when they are on your website and they click on it, it will dial your number immediately. Okay, so those are, you can just be creative with all of this. Then don't forget to come to style. Then you can style everything. You style your icon in terms of the color, the size, the gap. Then the text also, you can select your color, your typography, the size. Okay, for this entire, the way you do it for contact, maybe you want to have opening hours, maybe you want to have quick links, you want to have services, you want to have about, you can be creative with your footer. That's one thing I like about using this. Okay, and if you have this, maybe you want to create another one. So let me add a background color to this. I click on these 3 dots, I come over to style. I think I'm a little too fast now, but if I'm too fast for you, you can just slow down the speed of the video. So maybe I want to have, let me make it green. So you can bring in a background color, and if you want to use an image for your background, you can also do that. It creates a high level of creativity. Maybe I want to put an image in my background. Okay, right, and then to make the text visible, I can put in a background overlay. So this is it right here. And then let me use a color. So let's see. Okay, so you can set the opacity, how light or how deep you want the color to be. Okay, so some of these things are some of the effects that you can just, so for the layout, I want to increase the height of the footer. So you can see now for that background image, it's not showing properly. So I'll just come over here, position. I want it to be center. Okay, and then I want the display size to be over. All right. Okay, so those are some of the things. You can also decide to attachment. I want it to be fixed. Okay, you might not see the effects now, but since it's footer, let's just leave it at default. Okay, and then just make sure the color balance. And then another thing you can do is when you click here, just to create some gap between this column and the next column, come over to layout, then you put in column gap, and increase the column gap to whatever value that best fit. You can see there's a gap here so that they won't be too close. Okay, so and that, if you want to have ideas about footer layout or footer design that you can come up, you can just go online and search for footer designs, footer layouts. You just see pictures of different layouts that you can actually just recreate right here. And if you want to add another one below it, and then maybe I want to add another one below it, and this one I want to use it for my copyright, whatever. So let me say I want to give this color, I want to give it a dark color now. Okay, so you know the possibilities are endless. And then I can just bring in this heading. Maybe I want to add, for example, now maybe I want to put in, hey, I've clicked on that link. No, it's coming here. Okay, the footer is gone because we are creating a new footer now. So let's say I want to add in that copyright text. That was what I wanted to copy. And then I want to put that the footer. So you can do that. And then I can come here and style it at, okay, maybe white. And then I'll make it very small. Maybe, and make it very light. You know, I hope you get the concept, and I want to centralize it. Okay, for this also, I don't want it to be that small. I just want it to, okay, and I want to put it at the center so you can see. So the possibilities are endless with this. You can use this to create a custom footer. This is optional anyway, but I just decided to share this with you, okay? So you can do this for your contacts. You can go and come here to do the same thing. So to make it easier, once you are done here, you want to maintain this. Maybe you are going to use this again. I can copy this, come and paste it here. So I'll just change the text from contact to maybe services. So with that, it will save me the time of having to, you know, go through the setting up the colors and everything. Okay, and maybe if I've set up all the colors, all the fonts and everything, I can just copy. Then I'll just come here, right click and click on paste style. So any color I use here, any font size, any effect I do here, it will also appear here. You know, so those are some of the things that make your work more faster and create consistency in your design. Exactly. Okay, so then don't forget to publish, right? So once you publish, if you come to your website, if I should refresh this now, we'll be having our footer. Let me go back to our home. Okay, so you can see. All right, so there's another thing I noticed is it's too close to the top. You can also add some padding this time around. So I click on these three dots, I come to advanced, I uncheck this, and then maybe at the top I want to add a padding of 80 pixels. Okay, and then at the bottom also I want to add 80. Okay. So then don't forget to always publish. Just make sure you create something great, balance the color. You can even come up with something better like this. All right, so let's go back to the front end of the website. So guys, there's another thing I didn't mention, maybe because we didn't need it. If you also need images for your website, there are 3 websites that I highly recommend. Number 1, Pixabay. Number 2, Unsplash, and number 3 is Pixels. Okay, and don't forget I said you can also use ChatGPT to get content for your website. All right, and let me just go ahead and disable that, or I can just go ahead and come back to my dashboard. Okay, so dashboard right here, since I'm still logged in. So let me come back to that plugin UAE, header and footer, and let me do a quick edit. I don't want to use it. Let me just put it back to drafts, and then I update. So I want to return back to the initial footer that the website is using. So I only showed you that plugin just in case you want to create a custom footer. It is not compulsory. Okay, so I've taken it back to the initial footer, but I just share this with you just in case you want to create something custom or different. Okay, so with that, guys, I hope you really learned a lot. And if you want to know how to create custom emails like this, like info at your website name using your domain, okay, the hosting you got, okay, to give you access to that, I have a separate video for that. I won't be able to do it here, so that the video will not be longer than necessary. Okay, so there's a separate video how to create custom emails. All right, and don't forget, if you want to take advantage of the hosting and the 75% discount you're going to be getting, and the 70% discount plus the free domain you're going to be getting, I'll leave a link to it in the description of this video so that you can also take advantage of that to get started with your website. So guys, I hope you learned a lot in this video. If you have any question for me, please let me know in the comment section, and do make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have yet to, and check my playlist on WordPress. There are a lot of videos right there that I believe would help you, especially if you're a beginner when it comes to web design. All right, so I hope I've covered everything I plan to cover in this video, and then if that's the case, Thank you very much once again for watching. My name is Prosper, and with that, guys, I'll see you all in another video. Bye for now.